Your me time is here, because The View is live. Presidential casting call. Trump just plucked another staff member right off TV. Is this what the White House needs? Royal pains. Why Meghan Markle's wild wedding prep includes her getting kidnapped. And the most fearless man in comedy, Ricky Gervais, hits Hot Topics to talk about his first stand-up special in 7 years.
He's an observational comedian. How can he relate to ordinary scum?
Let's light up Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sarah Haynes, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
So the White House casting call continues. The latest staff member was once again picked right off the television. So the new top economic advisor at the White House is Lisa Kudrow.
No.
Confusing people.
Hold on a minute. What? My bad. It's actually Lawrence Kudlow.
Oh, close.
Blair.
Isn't Larry and Lawrence the same name?
Is it?
No?
Yeah. His name is Lawrence, but they call him Larry.
Oh, I don't know him. So I'm just calling him Lawrence Kudrow. And he's the host of CNBC's The Kudlow Report. So is this the MO of the new current administration? I mean, could it explain why so many people don't last as long?
Well, he just picks people from TV. Everyone at this table is qualified to work in the Trump administration. Call me. What job would you like?
I think they could afford you, Joy.
I think one of the problems is, it comes from the top. He didn't have experience for this particular position, and so he doesn't think anyone has to have experience or training or education for the role that they're playing. I mean, if you think about appointing him as someone that's supposed to lead the country on economics, he doesn't have an economics degree. He doesn't have from college. He doesn't have a PhD in economics. He didn't get his master's degree in economics.
He just plays one on TV.
He just plays one on TV, and for some reason, I think our society has changed.
He was the associate director under Ronald Reagan for economics, though, so he has worked in a White House before.
Yeah, but
that's more experience than most people.
Yeah, it is. But I feel like for some reason, our society is devaluing experience and education in a way that I've never seen before.
Well, one thing I laughed at, which isn't surprising, but for some reason, every single person he talks about, their looks come up.
Oh, yeah.
Which just makes me laugh. But he said, you're on the air. I'm looking at a picture of you. Very handsome. Like, so when we think it's just women he's saying this about, he's an equal opportunity offender. He just talks about everyone's looks.
He likes to say he's handsome.
Well, because the Pennsylvania...
I'm better looking than him, aren't
The candidates in the Pennsylvania thing, one of the first qualities he looks for is he's a good-looking guy. And I'm always like, oh, my God, I really could work for you.
The one thing I will say about Larry Kudlow, though, is most economists get a lot wrong, and to know very few economists saw the 2008 crash coming. Paul Krugman, who's considered, he's a very liberal economist, said that the markets will plunge and never recover. He predicted a global recession with no end in sight following Hillary Clinton's loss. David K. Johnson said Trumponomics would be a disaster for workers, and that only Hillary could be the economic savior. So I don't trust economists like as a generality, excuse me. And I think that Larry Kudlow is on television, but when I did more research into him, he did work for Ronald Reagan. He is someone that is well respected. My understanding was he was actually going to have a political career, but he had a very serious cocaine habit that he's very open about in the 90s that sort of derailed where he was going, and he went into media instead. I think there are much worse options. He's much more conservative than Gary Cohn, who he's replacing.
It's interesting that Trump seems to want people who agree with him, right?
Yes.
Well, this guy, in 2002, he argued for the war in Iraq. Now, I happen to know that Trump did not like the war in Iraq at all. He came here and he said it's a disaster. He said Bush is a disaster. I heard him say that to me, actually. And then this Kudlow says the shock therapy of decisive war will elevate the stock market by a couple of thousand points. That didn't happen.
No.
So he's not right all the time.
No one is right all the time, but one has to say, well, at least this one has some experience. And I'm you know,
a little bit.
Well, but that's more. I mean, to me, that's more than just about anybody else has had.
But his
He's
experience
also
in the
a
right
Wall Street
field.
figure that's beloved by Wall Street. I mean, he's very well known. His show is very popular on CNBC, and he does have a lot of relationships with Wall Street, and I do think it's important that there is some kind of trust.
He's at least in the ballpark of the field, whereas Ben Carson, who's a surgeon, had nothing to do with housing.
Or the energy person.
And we tell you what the problem is.
Megan, what you were saying, I didn't know he served under Reagan. That does kind of instill a little bit of faith, because one thing I've noticed is he brings in people to fix the swamp or to drain it.
Right.
But if you don't know a place, you can't fix it. And by that I mean anyone that's ever gotten a new job. You know, there's a learning curve. You can't tweak it, cut budgets. You can't do anything until you know who's who, what they do, what's necessary, what's not.
Right.
And what we're noticing is they come in and, like Rex Tillerson, who's already out, so maybe I'm the day behind here, but he was trying to cut budgets before he even knew what all these people did in the State Department. So I think if that is reassuring that he has a little administrative,
it's a little take. You know, look, that's all I got for him. I can say, you know, thank you for that, because you know now we can at least argue about economics with someone who actually can explain what they're doing, or you can question them and they won't look at you like they don't know. But it may be easy to get a gig in D.C., they're saying, but the exit for some can be rough, because Attorney General Jeff Sessions will decide whether or not to fire FBI Director Andrew McCabe in just 2 days. That's 2 days before he's set to retire. Now, he's under fire for allowing FBI officials to speak to the press about the Clinton Foundation investigation. So, is this kind of late? Is it odd? What do you think?
So, in other words, Jeff Sessions can fire him before he gets his pension.
Yes.
Yes.
And then after all the years he started in the 90s, he won't get his pension.
No, he will not get his
Well, Jeff Sessions rescinded DACA, allowing for dreamers to be deported, so he's capable of being cruel that way.
Yeah.
So I do not put it past him.
I just think, you know, we've seen this war on our intelligence community, this war on the FBI. I mean, this man is a career agent. He's not a political appointee, so Trump can't fire him. But what is concerning to me is what is the, you know, we don't really know what the investigation showed. Some people are saying he lacked candor when he was interviewed about the email investigation and about speaking to reporters. So I don't know what he did or did not do, but I am troubled with this constant attack on our intelligence community, because that is the stuff that dictators are made of.
But if I read into that example a little bit, because I was actually torn, the idea of taking away someone's pension after 21 years who served this country. But the flip side is they haven't had anyone ever fired, but some people have gotten administrative leaves or suspensions for
a deputy director
assault,
has never
drunk
been
driving.
fired.
Right, but the difference is those behaviors are outside of your job. If candor means not being forthright about something.
But it's not just
If
being
that's what he
forthcoming.
did.
He's accused of allowing FBI officials to speak to the Wall Street Journal reporters about an investigation into the Clinton
That's what I mean,
Foundation.
is if he revealed something that on his job he vows not to.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is,
that
too,
could
is
be big.
I agree that there is this like war on our intelligence communities, but some of it's valid. They leak like sieves right now, and we're talking about information that could be absolutely lethal when it comes to anything foreign policy related. And there is a huge problem. We have James Comey coming on this show, and to put it lightly, Joy and I have some things to say, and I would like to know where it started, where this admission of leaking and this culture started, because when I was growing up, it was, you know, I mean, absolutely detrimental to your career, and you should immediately
It's fascinating. Isn't it fascinating that there are leaks in the White House? Who are these people? In other words, we have things that are written about us, and you wonder where the leak is. We can't find a leak, and who knows where a leak comes from.
Well, you know,
and they're right there in the house with them. They can't
According to
figure it
the
out.
movies, it's always the one you least suspect.
Like you. The little blonde.
Well, we all have questions for Mr. Comey when he gets here.
Yes.
Welcome.
Buckle
When's he
up,
coming?
baby.
Isn't
I'm
it a
excited he's coming
Oh,
on.
I'm thrilled that he's coming.
Oh,
He's
yes.
coming in April.
Yeah. Anybody going to tell me a date?
What's the date?
April 20th, I believe, right?
18th. April 18th. He'll be here, and yeah, we got a lot of questions. We'll be right back.
Later, forgiving Weinstein? Why Kathy Lee Gifford said she reached out to her old friend after his sexual misconduct scandal. Tomorrow on The View, we're fired up for Friday. Yes. And hold on, because we've got one sizzling political view. She replaced Al Franken. Now Senator Tina Smith hits the table. Tomorrow on The View. Still ahead, comedy superstar Ricky Gervais reveals how he's bringing some humanity back to stand-up comedy.
The iconic store, Toys R Us, just filed for liquidation in bankruptcy court, which most likely means they're going to be closing all 735 remaining stores. Online shopping is only getting bigger, and do you think we're going to see more brick and mortar stores close up? See, I don't understand how you can close up Toys R Us, because when I was buying toys for my child, you had to go and look at the toy and make sure you knew when they unwrapped it what it was going to do. You had to sort of get, and I worry because once you know, and I love my Amazon shopping, but I think we're going to miss brick and mortar.
I went to Toys R Us this holiday season. Everybody thought I was crazy. I was online at Toys R Us because you want to see it and touch it and then get advice from people. What I'm afraid of is that the brick and mortar bookstores will go away.
They're gone. Not the neighborhood ones are pretty strong.
And Barnes and Nobles, I mean, I spend so much time just sitting there and reading in a chair.
I'm sure they love that Sunny's read through all the books without leaving.
I know. I read to decide if I want to buy them.
Well, that's what happened to Barnes and Noble.
Downstairs.
I hope this doesn't include the sex toy industry, because stores need to stay open.
Weren't those always online?
No, there were a few in the village.
You went to one to like see it. And
No, you have to go. You have. I concur.
Yeah.
You must.
I think
try the product.
You don't concur about the bookstore?
Oh my God!
You try on bathing suits, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, you try the book.
You try bathing suits on. You're taking your clothes off, putting on something somebody else's, and of course had on. So
they have projections for that. Those little things.
Well, they got projections for the things we're talking about too. Anyway.
Oh my gosh! I've led a
your
sheltered
biggest
life.
concern is the sex store.
Well,
I mean,
you never went to one. Oh, give me a break, Megan.
Actually, I lived in the West Village. I know which one you're talking about.
Exactly.
I went to go buy a gift for a bachelorette party, got recognized, and got shamed for being a Republican by someone else in there. Like that Republicans can't buy bachelorette party toys.
Well, what you should have done was bought a product and beat them with it.
Like you're not. I mean,
Why do you think conservative women? This is studies.
They have better sex.
Have better sex lives.
Allegedly.
Well,
I mean,
studies show.
I don't even know if I believe that, though. I just think healthy people have nice.
No, they say that conservative women have more sex and better sex than liberal. I think it's because I have a theory.
What's your theory?
My theory is that conservative women have more money. They're more relaxed.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm supposed to be relaxed.
It's not about having sex with Rush Limbaugh. I'll tell you that much.
I'm going to take this to a whole new world.
You know how much I love this topic. Love it.
Well,
No,
Holy sex is really bad.
this is a.
Let's help Whoopi out. Let's talk about toys and angels.
Digging me in here now. Because I want to change the subject, because I want to wish my great-granddaughter, Charlie Rose, happy 4th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, great-granddaughter. Yeah. Great-grandma.
That's such a great age.
She's a grandma.
Oh, yes, that's my daughter.
She's making grandmas hot again.
That's right. And that's Charlie Rose's aunt, my middle granddaughter.
Wow.
But, you know, a lot of Americans are planning to pop bottles in their PJs to watch the royal wedding. I know Charlie Rose is going to be watching because she wants to see the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
Because maybe she could be a princess too one day in her
There
mind.
you
She's
go.
already a
It airs in May, which at 7 a.m. Eastern time in the United States. So
Oh.
Are people caught up in this? Is anybody at the table caught up?
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Anything British, I like.
Right.
I'm into
I
it.
know. I love the BBC, Joy.
I do. I love the Brits.
You're talking about, she's an American, Meghan Markle. So I'm kind of fascinated by that. She's a biracial American, and I'm fascinated by that. I want to see all the fascinators that everyone's having on. I want to see
Their hats?
what people
Is that
are
what that is?
I want to see what people are wearing.
The hats are
fabulous.
fun.
When I was younger, I remember getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Princess Diana get married to Charles because my friend Margaret Bashir was so into it. I wanted to be into it too, and I wanted to talk to her about it. I mean, it's a big deal, the royal weddings.
Americans are more caught up with it, though, than I think anywhere else.
Because
I think
she's
it's like
American.
a project, but I also think over the years they have been. I think it's like a projected fantasy. We all are raised being told stories like they happily ever after. There's a prince, a princess. I think that gets so ingrained that people are fascinated by the real life versions.
I don't think that's just.
Thank you, Joy.
Not all Americans are caught up
That's
on
called
it,
raining.
though. Do you care?
No, I am.
No, I mean, in general, the country, I'm not.
Well, you know Harry.
And they lived happily ever after. In
You know Harry?
Yeah, your buddy.
You know Harry? Go to the wedding. He should invite you. Why are you not going?
Yeah.
Obama's
You had tea
going.
with them, didn't you? High tea? Did you have to put your pinky up like that?
My pinky goes up no matter what.
Her pinky is on Viagra.
So you're somewhat excited about it then,
Well,
right?
I'm excited about it because the truth of the matter is, you know, little girls like myself grew up with Cinderella and all these princesses. And as a little kid, you don't say, hey, except way, way in the back of your mind. And then people start saying, well, you know, that's never going to happen to you because they don't marry folks like you. And you understand it as you hear it as a kid, and it's like, oh, okay, and you just accept it.
Yeah.
And then you look around and you say, oh, well, it doesn't seem that, you know, they're all right. But this is the first time where several drops of black blood are going to be intermixed with the royal family, and I'm really happy. And the little kid in me says, you know what?
There's something really spectacular about it.
Even you could be a princess, and you could be a princess, and I could be a princess. You know, just it may not ever happen, but it's possible. It's like Obama.
Well, it is.
My mom said when he was elected, she said, I never, ever thought I would ever see this. And I said to her, but you always said, you know, you could be anything when you grow up. She said, yeah, but somehow we never thought this was actually possible. So that was for me, hearing her say that, because I believed that she believed it was possible, but there was always hedging of the bets, and now this makes it just
special.
She was in reality, your mother.
Yeah, she was in reality, but she also wanted to live in the possible. And so seeing that reminded me, anything is possible. So Meghan Markle, I'm going to be watching you. We'll be right back. So Kathy Lee Gifford surprised a lot of people when she told Andy Cohen about reaching out to some old friends who are dealing with scandals right now. Here's what she said. Take a look.
Did you reach out to Bill Cosby after that?
Yes,
You did?
yes, I've been friends with Bill a long, long time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I told him, I tell him all. Harvey Weinstein was a friend of mine for 30 years.
Did you speak to him
I
after
know,
all
but
this?
I called him and left a message.
Wow. Wow.
I just want people to know I don't judge them. I don't like what they do, but God knows their hearts, and there's hope for them.
Right.
And you can't call yourself a friend when the first minute where there's trouble, you run. That's called a fair weather friend, and that's not a friend at all.
Right.
So if a longtime friend does terrible stuff.
Well, first of all, Kathy Lee, I worked very closely with her, has one of the most beautiful hearts of anyone I've ever met. She's a woman of faith, and she lives it. She just doesn't just speak it. So she calls on people always for forgiveness, for grace, for mercy. Where I find I totally agree with her is in these times where there are so many movements and things going on, you see someone messes up, and instantly they're a pariah. No one can go near them. But the very, the way I was raised was always, that's when someone needs you the most. And it does not mean you condone their action. It does not mean you're complicit. You can say, I don't agree with anything you've done. It's awful. You can have empathy for victims, but you can still say, you know, I've cared for you, and I know you're dimensional. I'm layered too. I'm not here to be the one judging you. Like
I don't want to judge either, but Harvey Weinstein has not confessed to anything.
I'm not friends with Harvey.
And he says, but he says it's consensual. He's lying about it, and he has not said I'm guilty. He says he's innocent.
Yeah.
That it's all consensual. So
I also
there are
think,
limits
like,
to friendship.
What is she talking about friendship-wise, though? Because there are some people that are like, oh, they're my friend, they're my friend, they're my friend. I am very guarded. I'm very mafia about the people I keep close to me. My friends are very, very tight and loyal, and we call each other ride or die. I don't make friends easily, and the people I'm close to are very, very close to me. So if someone, like, in my friend, people I consider friend, did something like that, I agree with you. But if they are raping people left and right and I didn't know about it, I don't think I'm fair weather. I think you're a disgusting, horrible criminal that I wouldn't want that energy around me or my family or the rest of my family.
I agree with that in the sense that I've had situations where I've been friends with people and they're exhibiting these horrible behaviors.
Like what?
Stealing from another friend. You know, just terrible behaviors. And I've distanced myself because if your values don't align with my values, I don't know that we should be friends. It's not to say that I wouldn't show empathy, but once someone is raping someone or just doing things that are so not in line with, allegedly, someone that is just not behaving in line with your true values. So I think it's difficult to maintain a friendship.
So as a lawyer, when there are allegations,
it's just allegations, yes.
What do you do if you don't know?
I think you can ask the person.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
I think you can ask and say, you've been accused of these things. Is that true? And if they say that it's true, you know, you can offer empathy. But again, once you're just not aligned.
But what happens if they say, no, I didn't do this?
I think that's different.
That's what Harvey Weinstein is saying.
Right. Well, that's why I'm saying, what do you do if you're somebody's friend? Well, that's what I think that's the.
And maybe you know their character, and like you know, if you have like a really old friend, you know their character. Because I've certainly been in situations where, you know, I myself am controversial. I tend to be around people who work in media that are also controversial. Maybe it's like attracts like. And there are times where people will say, how can you be friends with this person? They think or said that. And I think 100% you can say, I really know them. I'm really their friend. And if you can vouch for their character, I agree with you. That's a totally different thing. I just think how you define friendship, because I know people who are like, she's a friend, she's my friend. And that's just not how I roll. Like, people who are close to me are super close to me, and I don't have casual friendship.
Right.
But to your question, I think it's the court of opinion. It's not just the court of law. It's hard to.
The court of public opinion it has recently become how we try people. But I'm wondering what happens in the event that, you know, there's a situation, someone is accused of something, and it turns out not to be so. What happens then? So as that person's friend, what do you do? Do you bail instantly? Do you wait and see? I think that's the question.
The court of public opinion has also at times adopted a mob mentality. So at times, accused is guilty, and the second you say otherwise, you're still wrong, and it destroys people. So I just think that the important thing is that if you expect people to see nuance in your life example, extend them the same grace.
But how about if someone really let's say you know that someone did these things, never did them to you, but did these things. Is that a friendship you can still maintain?
I think every friend has to draw that line on their own, because I've lost friendships over much lesser crimes, just people that have toxic energy and things like that. You make your own call. But what I'm saying is, don't judge the person that stays close to that person and say you must agree with them. You must be condoning the behavior. You know, just say that's not what I could do, but for Kathy Lee, good for you.
Nobody
that's what
knows
matters
your relationship with that person except you, too. Like, nobody knows that.
We have a statement. We have a statement. At least 60 women have accused Bill Cosby of sexual harassment or rape. He has denied these claims, and Weinstein has also denied, through his spokesperson, any allegations of non-consensual sex. So to your point, Joy, they've denied it.
Well, sometimes it just quacks like a duck.
But until you've been on that end of it, when you weren't quacking like a duck and they blamed you for quacking like a duck, it's a bitch.
It has
We'll be right back.
It has happened.
So welcome back. People are losing their minds over Beyonce and Jay-Z's latest tour. They've crashed Ticketmaster. They're willing to do just about anything to get tickets, and social media has had a ball with this. There is a meme that calls back to Monique's fight with Netflix. Hey, my loves, I'm asking that you stand with me and boycott Ticketmaster. And then there's this one. Check this out with Wendy Williams. It says, me after selling all my organs for my Beyonce ticket.
That's kind of
Now, you know, they're saying that that there was a glitch and somehow all the tickets were gone.
Yeah.
But people, I think people are developing a bit of a sense of humor, which I was happy to see.
Yeah,
You know?
it was
Someone
nice.
said they were on the Beyonce diet where you give up your money to go to the concert and can't eat food because you can't afford it.
I mean, it's crazy. Have you ever sort of had to jump through hoops to get tickets to
I'm
something?
not a big concert person. Like, waiting in line inconveniences me from my bed. So, like, I'm kind of a lazy music person.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've done it. I slept in a tent with friends, and we rotated for Prince tickets. Absolutely, right? I mean,
All I know
sure
is
did.
that you and I went to see Tina Turner at the Madison Square
Yes, we
Garden.
did.
And I think it was the last time she
Yes,
actually
the
had a
last time she
concert
was
like
here.
that.
yeah.
And for her, I would stand online.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tina.
I've seen Beyonce, boy. It's worth the tent. I mean,
I'm gonna call
it's
Worth your
organs,
Why
honey.
can't we just call Jay-Z and ask him if he wants to give us tickets?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, my God.
Because then we'll be the memes.
my God.
Nasty bitches get tickets, so what do I get?
That's right.
You know?
All right.
Hey, we'll be right back.
I'm Ricky Gervais. I'm about to go on The View.
What's the one daytime show unafraid to tell it like it is?
What's the name of the show again? The View. Oh, that's right. Welcome to The View, everybody.
We bring the passion.
If people don't understand your dream, the dream's not for them, it's for you.
Yeah.
We bring the OMG.
Damn.
You were in danger, girl.
No, you were in danger, girl.
We talk it all and keep it real.
That's what The View does.
That's right. Only on ABC.
Golden Globe and Emmy Award-winning comedian Ricky Gervais is back with his first stand-up special in 7 years, and this time he's taken on all of humanity. Please welcome back the fabulous and quite funny Ricky Gervais. So, before we get into what the special is about, the question everybody wanted me to ask you is, are you excited about the royal wedding?
You can't even say it with a straight face. Am I excited about the royal family?
Yeah. No, the royal wedding.
No. I'm not excited about it. Listen, I've got nothing against the royal family, but I don't like any of that sort of frivolous nonsense.
Right.
Gossip. You know, I actually know William and Harry. They've come to about 2 or 3 of my gigs. You know, they're not, but no, I mean, it's on every paper all the time. Every minutiae. It's like, oh no, I'm not interested at all.
I wonder, you know...
Thanks for asking.
Just on the same subject, though, when I was in England trying to do stand-up there, you can't say anything about the Queen. They have a fit, and they won't laugh. Is that true when you do it?
No. Oh, God, not anymore.
Not my
Well, it
house.
was then.
No. I mean, I think that, you know, I think that BBC are still a bit stuffy because they get complaints and, you know, they're a sort of government body, so they fear complaints, but live, no, anything, it's just, no.
Well, when you go on the Golden Globes, a lot of time you are politically incorrect and hilarious, of course.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
So this is...
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right, you know? It's... offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? You know, so you can't second-guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious issues, and sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that, but... You know, you can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing. So if you're saying anything, you should polarize. You should polarize because everyone's different. So,
But this year you didn't host, and do you miss the fact that this was a Weinstein year?
Oh, I was salivating. Honestly, I got an adrenaline rush thinking of what I could say and whether I'd have to go to jail. And I like that opportunity because I do like that. When there's a tension, when there's an elephant in the room. Although he wasn't there this year. I do like that because I do like confronting that because I think it takes the audience to a place it hasn't been before. And it can be a mutual backslapping, fest, fine, but don't televise it, because I'm not doing it for the 200 egos in the room. I'm doing it for the 200 million people watching around who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires,
and who don't care about winning the awards.
Humanity, which we mentioned, is your first comedy special in 7 years, and you say that it's the right time for it, the subject matter. What?
Yeah, well, I left it for 7 years, not on purpose. I was doing other things. I did a series, I did Derek, I did a couple of movies, and I pushed it back because I always thought that stand-up was like the second or third thing I did, whereas now I've changed my mind.
Oh,
now it's my favourite thing. I could give everything else up because it's such a privilege, and freedom of speech is so important these days. And you've got, and I've reached the age now where I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? It's like,
welcome aboard.
What's the worst that can happen?
Welcome aboard.
I'm going to die soon.
Yeah.
So I'm offended. I'm going to die. So what? So...
You made enough money at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to give that to animals anyway, just to see the look on my stupid family's face. Leave it all to animals.
And by the way, if Humanity is on Netflix, you're going to want to see it. So.
And you talk about your family.
I do. This is the most personal. Again, I think for the same reasons. I think that it's nice to look back and it's a celebration. I talk about my mum and dad and who aren't with us anymore, and jokes about the mum and mum's funeral. Because that's what. I think that's what humour's for. It gets us over bad stuff. So it's a sin not to joke about all the bad things. That's a waste, because that's exactly what we should joke about.
I also feel that when you talk about people who have gone to the next world, whatever that is, that you're keeping them alive in a way.
Well, yeah, they exist.
They're still there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And, I tell it, there was a lot of truth, so I tell the truth, It's not just this idealised view of your mum. You tell, why... I remember when I was 12, I got older brothers and sisters, which is why I'm like I am, I suppose. I like to show off to be heard, right? And they're much older than me. They're like 11, 13 and 14 years older than me. And I remember when I was about 12, I said to my mum, why are my brothers and sisters so much older than me? And she said, you were a mistake.
And there you have it.
I just laughed.
It's true, because sometimes it's also the way you can grieve. Because when my brother passed, when I started talking about it in my show, because it was like, I can understand how he was more good-looking dead than I was alive.
That's great.
And people were like, really? I was like, yeah, because you have to keep talking. You have to keep talking to stay present.
Absolutely. Make them part of the thing, and it is with affection, I just think that it's like my mum would have loved it,
And they're hilarious anyway.
Well, it's funny.
Funny
is funny.
Yeah.
Funny is funny. There's no time and a place for being funny. I know those things are sensitive, and I think you have to respect that. And let's get this: I wouldn't be doing those jokes at someone else's mum's funeral.
Yeah.
I do it at mine, because I know that So
let's talk about your partner Jane, because I've met Jane. She's a lovely person. You've been with her for how many years? 35?
30 years. Yeah.
30 years.
30 years. Yeah.
Not married yet, though.
No.
You're never going to get married.
No.
He doesn't like any of this.
There's no point.
Yeah. No, there's no, we don't want our families to meet, and
But you've said that the key to a happy relationship is separate bathrooms, which I totally agree with.
That's a fact. Yeah.
And why is that?
One less argument, isn't it? So it's great. It's lovely to have your space, and it's brilliant. Yeah.
I know. I think so too. What about separate bedrooms now?
Oh no.
No.
Let's not get crazy, Joy. No, you're really active on Twitter. You have 13 million followers, and you love to engage with trolls. It's a fun pastime for you.
Yeah.
You post unflattering photos of yourself, which I think we have, mostly in the bath. What is it with your bath obsession? What's going on here?
I love a bath. I think it's because when I was little, a bath was like a luxury. You know, we could afford like, 2 a week each in the family. So now I think that's my luxury.
Now you're gluttonous, laying in the bath.
Honestly, my baths have got bigger and more luxurious. Yeah, I have 1 or 2 a day, and so I've got the the iPhone. So I think, and it's great to look. You're in that position, and those are taken all around the world. There was Oslo, and I do a relevant, bath pick wherever I go.
They're very themed.
Do you think,
They're very themed, yeah.
Do you think that growing up poor like you did, and I grew up in a tenement, Whoopi grew up in a
project.
I was just in Iowa, so.
She's from Iowa, whatever. Do you think that makes you funnier?
Well, I think so, because that was the thing about growing up. I was born into poverty and like welfare housing, and my dad was a labourer, mum was a housewife, and I was the youngest of 4. But the point was to, pay your way, then have a laugh.
Yeah.
And, that was the men. The women carried on working, obviously. Yeah, it was everything.
Survival.
It was survival. You laugh at everything. It gets you over it, and if you can laugh in the face of adversity, you're bulletproof.
And also, if you can make your parents laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can make their day better.
Absolutely. We would tease them and everything, and they loved it. Yeah.
Come back sooner than 7 years, please.
Yeah, really.
Who knows if any of us will be here. Come back sooner.
You can sit there by yourself.
Humanity is available now on Netflix. Check it out, please. You will laugh, and you might even shed a tear.
It's so funny.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Just talking about food, so I'm not going to go all the way. So I'm just going to point and ask you, vegetarian or meat?
Meat.
Vegetarian or meat?
Oh, meat, of course.
Vegetarian meat?
Vegetarian?
Vegetarian meat?
What do you think? No.
And there we have it.
Do you smoke cigars?
I do everything that's bad for you.
And this is great for us. We want you all to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy the view. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming.
Your home, your way. Right.